We got couching with Koel.
This week, another star is hitching a ride on my mobile couch, and I'm happy to oblige because he's been my co-star a long time ago, and he is a humongous talent who is defying the limitations of popular convention, not only here in India, but also in the West. He doesn't talk much, but he doesn't need to because his eyes speak volumes. So come on in with me as I'm inviting you to witness the couch giving a lift to Irrfan. Hello, Irrfan. Thank you for coming on my couch, on my bus.
Thank you so much for providing us such a warm, lovely, feel-good seats.
Don't fall asleep, okay?
No, they're very inviting and they're very...
So where are we going?
We shouldn't know.
We shouldn't know.
We shouldn't know. That's the fun of going, That's the fun of going. Let the road decide where we go.
Is this how you've done your career? Let the road decide? Or have you, I mean, right at the onset of your career, when you were doing like villains and character roles for television, did you ever plan that you want to get there where you would be romancing like a stunning hit machine and working with the biggest Don? Or were you like, acha chalo?
No, when I dreamt of becoming an actor, I had certain ideas, I wanted to do certain roles. Definitely I wanted to do romantic roles. I wanted to do love stories. But life taught me certain things, life taught me that don't take your plans so seriously. We have already a design for you. It's your job is just to recognize those nudges, which keeps coming, one after the other. If you don't recognize that nudge which a nature gives you, so those are the challenges for you to overcome, so that you go into different orbit.
So you had a design that I want to be here, and you're very focused and hardworking and stuff. What was the biggest nudge that made you rethink something?
The certain sureties which were there. For instance, like when I got immediate break not after, but when I was in National School of Drama, I was offered this part in Slam Bombay. It was a major part, and my life was set that the kind of roles I imagined, the kind of preparation we were doing in National School of Drama, and going into a character, researching about them, living their life. International director. Exactly same thing was happening, and I said, fine, perfect. And same time, as I got sure about this, life taught me other lesson that don't take anything for granted.
Because now what?
No, it was like life was telling me that things are uncertain, especially this line is uncertain, so don't be sure of anything. So while we were doing the workshop and as they were coming close to the shoot, they decided that this role is, the height doesn't work with the kids, and my role was scrapped, and that was my first break, my first setback. So these kind of things, when these kind of things keep on coming in your life, you tend to think, what is this?
And how do you deal with those setbacks? Does it make you crumble at that time, or did it like make you, I'm going to beat this?
No, I was very emotional guy, and I am still a very emotional guy, and it just shattered me. I wept in Suni Tarpowala's lab, and Suni told me an incident about her life, how she was a photographer and how her book was coming out, and she was trying to console me. But because I am a survivor, I fight back. Till a point, you let yourself go, and then one day you get up and say, okay, we'll see.
And life comes full circle, where you've done Namesake afterwards with her. When you were in NSD and you looked at yourself in the mirror, you have a certain face. Did you look at yourself and say, I'm going to make it to cinema, no problem? Or something will have to shift for me to fit in? Did you ever think that at that time?
My drive was such that, I had to get in cinema. I wanted to be an actor. But when I looked at my face, I used to feel that, because I was thinking with a very naive mind. I was trying to find a reference point. Is anybody like my face has come to cinema? Which was a very, foolish thinking. But
but what else do you have to go by? Like you have to have some convention that is being set beforehand.
You should have,
right?
if I was smart enough, I should have thought that no similar faces come, in cinema. There were always new faces which come in cinema. So I used to find those references and I never used to get any reference. The most closest one was Mithun Chakravarti. So
I can see it, yes. Can you dance like him?
I used to that time. But I had a curly hair, so I used to, blow dry them and, try to put them in front of my face, for some time. But, my hair was not so soft. So it used to, become so strange. I'm trying to pull them down and they're hard. They used to become like, chajja, So that was, so I had doubts about my, definitely, about my face, and I thought whether I'll be able to fit in or not. But I was very driven.
You've said earlier that, the key to your success is being belief in yourself, that find your strong points and then hold on to them. What or who sort of helped you unleash what your strengths were, and what are your strengths?
I think it's you yourself. You cannot depend on anybody, because people have their own ways of thinking, but the way you can understand yourself, nobody can understand you, and the way you can identify your strong point and minus point, nobody can.
So what are your strong points? What would be your strongest point?
Let me come to this later. First, I'll give you an example. Like when I thought of becoming an actor, I had certain ideas. I was in drama school and there was film festival, and I saw Kamal Hassan coming for that festival, and he had a different look completely. I used to see, Robert De Niro's pictures, and every time I used to find him kind of, different life, living a different life, and that used to attract me a lot. So when I came here, I started practicing that, whenever I'm getting a role, so I'm trying to imbibe that look. And I had that kind of photo shoot, where different looks. Most of the people, they discouraged me. They were my well-wishers, and they said, "Keep, what are you doing this? Why we don't see you? These are all different looks, and a director will get confused." So it was completely contrast, So I had to take a call, what I want to do. So I think you yourself can be your guide, nobody else. You can take a tips,
You've been kind of instrumental in changing what Bollywood is today. I mean, today we're in a good place. We're in a transitory place,
very, very good
where someone like you is mainstream. You are not on the periphery anymore at all. But perhaps do you feel like you were a pioneer? That if everyone's advising you no, and you're still going ahead and doing something like that?
I think it's for the other people to decide and give those kind of definition, because that definition is not going to do anything to me, It can, they can have different views, and, they can put me on some pedestal, and they can pull me down, whatever. But I have to rely on my work. What I remember, what processes I remember when I did some film, what stayed with me, that is my strength, These
but that's
labels.
Because you love the craft, right?
I like it.
You love that.
I like it. It's sometimes, it's not fun doing it. It's like, pain, doing some part, but you want to do it. That's a drive. And once you have done it, that's a kind of achievement. That's a kind of...
So money has not been a drive. But wait, there's a quote of yours that says, "I often visualize giving my mother the big black suitcase crammed with notes like the gangsters do." Has that come true or not?
Yeah, it's come true. But when you dream about these things, you are too young, and life has its own colors. Life surprises you. Life never, it's different. It's different. I was very emotional with my mother. I'm a sentimental guy. I do know that there are strange things attached with sentimentality, but I am what I am. So I used to feel like that way. I used to make my mother happy, because she thought, why is he doing acting? And I used to tell her that you will be proud of me. I'm not going to do something on the screen which you will feel, oh, why is he doing that? I'll do something where you'll feel proud.
And is she?
Sometimes, yeah.
So you're definitely in the Khan's bracket of the big crores and things? Or
No,
are you still being paid the character money?
No. I have my own price, but these all clans, these categories, I don't believe in that. And it doesn't do anything to you, It's your individual connection whether it's Salman or Shah Rukh or Amir, they are not there just because their name is Khan. They are there because they have a special connection with the audience. They could be Tripathi, or they could be, some Sayyid, or they could be anybody,
So talking about your relationship with your mother, you talked about an emotional thing. This film, Piku, is about a father-daughter relationship. Have you been good, eventually all of us will have to look after our aging parents, etc.
Right.
Have you been a good son?
I am very responsible son, but I have a very strange relationship with my mother, that we have a lot of arguments, We don't, the way she thinks, the way I think, it doesn't gel. But it doesn't mean that we don't have conversations, I used to have all kind of conversation. She was very modern in her way, I could have, I also discussed sex with her. That was, it was not a problem. But the way she deals with her life, I don't agree with it, and I have fights, and the way I take things, she tries to impose certain things on me which I don't like.
So are you different as a father?
I am very different as a father, and the thing
are you an involved father firstly, with all your crazy schedules?
I'm very involved father, except the studies, and I hate schools.
I also hate school.
I wish they could never. I sometimes find excuses not to send them to school. What I have realized that this is a generation which is there's a lot of information. So as the information comes, they also form an opinion. And as parents, you are in a hurry, you are eager to teach them, and that happens with first child. Which is, you are very anxious and you want to teach them everything, and that becomes a burden on the child. What I've realized that the dialogue should be open. They should feel free to discuss anything with you. You should create that space, and then everything falls into place. Everything falls into place.
But it's work in progress, right?
It's work in progress.
You have to work on yourself to be able to be not like do it like this and you're my property.
Yeah.
Deepika in this film. Now, what happened in this film, or something that convinced you during the making of this film that yes, she deserves to be number one?
I think not during the film. During the film, what I discovered about her is the glow what she carries. It's a strange glow she has. I don't know how does it come.
It's a glow of success, Irrfan. You have it too.
No, I think
it's
she has
the glow of success.
I can't match her glow. This, and also the upbringing, which she oozes that kind of upbringing. What family she's coming, and there's a kind of strange integrity about her. She is number one, but she has her interest going all around, like she wants to explore herself as an actor. She has an interest in hospitality, and she's so she's not blinded by this, and she doesn't. I think she's making a very good use of her position. On one side, she's doing all glamorous films, big films, and also she is not, letting this chance go to get good scripts and do fantastic characters. Maximize it, in all aspects.
I gave a lift to Irrfan. What do you call now? Irrfan or Irrfan Khan? Or
I prefer Irrfan, but sometimes they write Irrfan Khan, so doesn't matter. They can write anything.
I remember when I worked with you, Irrfan, you were the most silent and yet keen person. Like you could hear, the workings of your brain. Like you really sort of get involved in the story and in the character. What is your starting point? Like how do you break something down?
Oh, as a character? It's just the first impression what the story have on me, when I read the story, what it does to me. And then the character, when you are reading a character, it does something to you. And that's, that's the most powerful thing. And that leads you. And then, practically you start seeing whether it's a film for Bollywood, it's Hollywood, who's the director, what is he trying to do through film,
Means what is the pitch?
Yeah. So you give that much, if I'm doing Gunde, I will not go into a kind of nuances of a character which is...
You look like
you're
in a documentary.
It becomes a burden on that kind of storytelling. And while doing the film, you see the director and you see, his language. You get the impression. and accordingly. Or sometimes the films are so personal that some directors just allow you to be what you are. You don't have to bother about anything. You just be there, and those are fantastic experiences.
So what is a character that has not left you or really made an impact on you from all the
Hansen
time?
was such his character. In Treatment character was such. Namesake's character was such. Hasil's character was such, which stayed with me. In Treatment character, I wanted to leave it behind. I
So it
just
stayed with you in a negative
way, like that feeling. That feeling of the Namesake character. It made me feel old, and I hated it. I hated it, because I could feel a pain in my joints, and I said, "What the fuck?" And I just wanted to get away from that. Pan Singh had a great, his personality was fantastic. I still carry him. There are a few roles, you carry, like the one I am doing in Inferno. I'm loving this character.
Now your English today is like phenomenal, right? Like, but it never used to be like that.
No, it was never. I'm not a.
You
I don't
think in Hindi?
I definitely think in Hindi, and I can never think in English. It's just my, this, I want to do Hollywood films. That's why I work on it.
But it never ever made you insecure that your lack of command of English, and here you are going and doing Hollywood films which require you to, you're not necessarily playing the brownie who can't speak English.
Right.
You're playing normal characters who are in native English speakers. It never sort of was a hindrance.
Lot of directors told me, one of the directors, I don't want to name, they said, you should work on your English, otherwise it will be difficult for you to survive in Hollywood. But somehow I didn't take it seriously. I don't know why I had, what kind of, some conviction I had. I thought, if it had to happen, it will happen, Although it's not an excuse that I should have worked more on my English. But somehow things have worked out. But the kind of characters I was getting, even as an Indian, they were good characters. They were pivotal characters.
They were excellent characters, but yes, their ethnicity was Indian. Now you're not, right? Now they are.
What happens in Jurassic Park? We had a discussion with the director, and then I asked him, "You want me to have some kind of accent? Do we bother about his nationality?" He said, "Just be what you are."
What's your name in it?
Masrani.
So can
He's
be
Italian.
from anywhere.
He's Italian.
He's Italian.
Indian Italian.
So fine, you did do a British accent, do the Italian accent.
So now I'm really in Hollywood. I'm international man. I could be from anywhere. I could have lived in London. I could have lived in America, or
Does it boggle your mind sometimes from where to where?
It feels nice. But
nice.
You don't think like that. I don't think like that. Oh, where was I? Where I have come? You always it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Wow.
It's gone.
Wow.
You are just what you are living here. That's it. What's going to come, maybe, that makes you excited, but that's again a trap. You can't rely on future. It's mostly, the process what you are into. Like now I am working on Inferno is giving me immense pleasure.
But Irrfan, that's amazing. That's so philosophically here and now.
I think life teaches you.
Yeah, that you have to be here and now. You said something else.
Although I would love to, talk about this. There's no here and now.
Oh, really?
It's just a concept which is being sold by all these gurus. Excuse me, there's no here and now.
So what are we then?
We are just traveling. We are just constantly
there's
motion.
No here and now the moment passes in an instant. But this is the thing, Irrfan, you're extremely interesting, and you just talked about getting old.
Right.
Now, you haven't looked better, and you're approaching, I'm not saying you are, you're approaching 50.
Right.
So I want you to complete this sentence. Irrfan at 20 was?
Shy, inhibited, lots of doubts, no vision, no point of view, highly romantic, dreamy, intense, looking for love, looking for acceptance, looking for recognition, looking for acknowledgement, and always lost.
And Irrfan at 30?
Wanting more and more girls. busy with his work, but he's still trying to find his own comfort level in front of camera. A lot of dreams and exciting life, and having fun and surviving and trying to make best of whatever work was coming,
And
and
Irrfan,
going through some heartbreaks and everything,
heartbreaks, and
Heartbreaks, yeah.
you were
I think
married
that's-
then, but you were falling in love left, right, and center.
I was married very late, I think before that I had some heartbreaks, and that was most interesting lessons I've learned in my life. I think they were very, very essential for my kind of person to go through that and see what is beyond. It's changed my life. Those.
I'm so
few
happy
heartbreaks.
to hear this, because most people think heartbreaks, think matters of the heart are so frivolous, but that's what gives you the intensity to
Yeah.
feel.
It gives you that intensity, and then once it happens, you are shattered. You don't know what's going to happen. You want to die. I want to beg. I wanted to beg in the street because there was no motivation left. I used to feel claustrophobic when I used to look at dogs, because I used to see a kind of pleasing quality in dog. I used to see they are always trying to do chamchagri to find their food. So I was going nuts.
You are
in my
a bit
head.
nuts.
I am, but I
You
was
were
going
hating
out of-
dogs because they were like trying to befriend you and trying to...
I could see a kind of manipulation that it was not genuine. It was for their food. Whatever they were doing it for their food. They are trying to be in a group, and they were trying to survive. And people used to define it as love, and I used to see something else in that, because I was going through that experience of dejection and everything. But so that taught me a lot. I loved that. I loved that in the sense. And now it's a perspective. When you get the perspective, you learn so many things.
And Irrfan in his 40s.
I started discovering about religion.
About religion?
Religion, and suddenly I discovered that in 40s that we are conditioned, badly programmed by our societies and our parents and our fears and our concerns and our securities, and that's what is making our religion so important. Although it's useless. You have to find your own religion. You have to find your own connection with God, and God is a very, very personal thing. The relationship with God is a very personal thing. It doesn't need to. You don't need to identify with any religion. You can allow all the religion to come in, whatever works for you, and that's your religion. You have to discover your religion. You cannot become part of this gang. One religion.
So you're not a practicing Muslim by
No,
any...
I'm not.
And
I'm
you
not.
have a mixed family.
I have a mixed family, and
How do you bring up your children? So what are you imbibing?
whatever good is there.
So your religion is what exactly then? if
It's my religion. There's no name. When I give name to my religion, it will be destroyed.
Ah.
It will be gone.
So it's here.
It's here. It's the connection with anything. It's connection with a creator. If there is any. If there is any. There could be just a consciousness. There could be this awareness which is doing all this, mysterious games. So
There
that
isn't a
happened.
subject that you talk to Irrfan about that he doesn't think deeply about and doesn't have... I could ask you about anything. I could ask you about the color of my couch, and you'll have something to say about it.
I want to do a film like that. The emotion should be...
The emotion should be red and furry. Irrfan in his 50s will be?
I don't know. I want to find love. Lots of love. Lots of love in my
What
life.
kind of love? Romantic love?
It could be romantic also, with everything, Your heart should be like...
Are you feeling that you've saturated that at this point in your life?
No, I thank God to these stories, which I keep on reviving things because of these stories. If I was a businessman, I would have been a different person, These stories give me a chance to, to ignite my heart, ignite myself, ignite my sensibilities. So I hope, my heart should be, it should be like on LSD 24 hours.
Oh my God. Now, all these beautiful actresses that you have worked with and continue to work with, Deepika, Aishwarya, Natalie Portman, Tabu, have you ever come, or anyone else that you can think of, have you ever come close to really falling in love with them?
With these actresses? I'm not going to tell you.
Yes, you are.
No.
Yes, you are.
I'm not going to tell you. You are in love many times, you are in love, and sometimes that love manifests, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just your own, for you protect that feeling, and you just live that feeling, and you live it beautifully, and you just experience that. But falling in love is the most beautiful thing in this world, it's just...
And he wants it over and over and over and over and over again.
There's a kind of wave which keeps on going whole day, whole night. There's a wave which travels inside you, and that's the most beautiful thing on this planet.
And on that note, I'm going to say goodbye to Irrfan, who's feeling the waves and the waves of love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We got couching with Koel.
This week, another star is hitching a ride on my mobile couch, and I'm happy to oblige because he's been my co-star a long time ago, and he is a humongous talent who is defying the limitations of popular convention, not only here in India, but also in the West. He doesn't talk much, but he doesn't need to because his eyes speak volumes. So come on in with me as I'm inviting you to witness the couch giving a lift to Irrfan. At the onset of your career, when you were doing like villains and character roles for television, did you ever plan that you want to get there where you would be romancing like a stunning hit machine and working with the biggest don, or were you like, acha chalo?
No, when I dreamt of becoming an actor, I had certain ideas, I wanted to do certain roles. Definitely I wanted to do romantic roles. I wanted to do love stories. But life taught me certain things, life taught me that don't take your plans.
Nudge that made you rethink something?
The certain sureties which were there, for instance, like when I got immediate break after, not after, but when I was in National School of Drama, I was offered this part in Slam Bombay. It was a major part, and my life was set that, the kind of roles I imagined, the kind of preparation we were doing in National School of Drama, and, going into a character, researching.
Irrfan. Hello, Irrfan. Thank you for coming on my couch, on my bus.
Thank you so much for providing us such a warm, lovely, feel-good seats.
Don't fall asleep, okay?
No, they're very inviting and they're very...
So where are we going?
We shouldn't know.
We shouldn't know?
We shouldn't know. That's the fun of going, That's the fun of going. Let the road decide where we go.
Is this how you have done your career? Let the road decide? Or have you, I mean, right?
So seriously, we have already a design for you. It's your job is just to recognize those nudges, which keeps coming, one after the other. If you don't recognize that nudge which a nature gives you, so those challenges, those are the challenges for you to overcome, so that you go into different orbit.
So you had a design that I want to be here, and you're very focused and hardworking and stuff. What was the biggest